Everyone's asking the same question about the new M4 Mac Mini from Apple. Why, in such a perfect redesign, did they put the power button in such an inconvenient place? Well, I have the answer, which I think you need to know, but you're not going to like it. My name's Patrick. I'm a New York City worship pastor and content creator, and I am here to encourage, equip, and empower worship leaders and content creators wherever you find yourself on that journey. And if you are a worship leader, if you are involved in ministry at your church, if you are a content creator, I think this new Mac Mini is a great machine for you. As a matter of fact, I think it's a great machine for anybody for many different reasons. But let's get something out of the way. No one's paying me to make this video. As a matter of fact, I bought the new Mac Mini, 2 of them, with my own money.
How's bragging camp going?
So clearly, I think this device is a win, but let's get into some weird decisions made about the design and why those decisions matter. This new Mac Mini redesign is incredible. They've made it tiny. As a matter of fact, it's just a bit bigger than the Apple TV, which I have right over here. Am I an Apple fanboy? Well, maybe, but my journey into the Apple world was kind of interesting. You see, I came of the age where I needed my own computer a couple years ago, many years ago. I'm very, very old. And I decided to get a Mac. And I fell in love with it so much that I actually applied for a job at my local Apple store. I moved to New York City, and eventually I found myself being the number 26 salesperson in, I think, the world, or at least America. And no, we didn't make commission. I worked hourly and sold millions of dollars worth of equipment. That being said, I have stayed in love with Apple for a very long time. I'm not a PC hater, it just happens to work for me. So in my bag right over there, I have a new MacBook Pro. At my church, I have M1 Mac Minis, and this new M4 design is incredible, not only for how tiny it is, like I said, being just a bit bigger than the Apple TV, but what's inside really packs a punch. My kids right over there in that room in my 1,000 square foot apartment where I have 3 children, my wife and I, pray for me. It's a little packed in here. My 2 oldest sons are at the age where toys are not something they really want for Christmas anymore. They do want some fun things, but they need things like computers, phones. They're interested in the Apple Watch and gift cards to be able to buy whatever they want. They're even interested in like camera gear because they love doing the YouTube thing as well. So I decided that it was time for us to get them a desktop in their room that they could actually do some stuff with.
Enhance.
Not just homework, but all the creative things that they like to do. So I was looking at iMacs, I was looking at older MacBook Pros, and then this new Mac Mini comes along that no longer just has the M1 processor from Apple in it, but the M4 processor in it. It also has multiple USB-C ports, as well as not just Thunderbolt 4 ports, but on the Mac Mini Pro model, Thunderbolt 5 ports. So you can connect multiple displays, peripherals, and with that M4 processor, you're also not only able to, do fun web browsing and YouTube videos, but you're able to actually use high-end creative apps. So I said, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get this new M4 Mac Mini for them. At my church, I have 2 M1 Mac Minis that are running all of our visuals, as well as our live stream and some audio processing. Well, now with this M4 processor, I'm able to run more screens and process data and high-end graphics even better. So I'm also buying one of those for our church. I'll probably replace all of those Mac Mini M1s with Mac Mini M4s in the future. So this isn't just a little plaything that you might get your grandparent or a kid for their first computer. You're getting a very powerful device in a very small package.
That's what she said. No.
And most people have an old TV, an old screen, a keyboard, a mouse maybe laying around, and if not, you can go pick one up for maybe $100 or so. So with those extra peripherals laying around, it makes sense for me just to buy this thing, throw it in my kid's room, plug a screen into it, and go, guys, you can now edit, you can do all your homework stuff, you can create, you can even do like word processing and web browsing, and you're gonna have this really powerful device to do all of the things you want to do. And let's talk about price. Out the door, you're spending $600 for the base model. The Pro model is obviously more expensive, but in the base model, you're getting high-end graphics processing. You're also getting 16 gigs of RAM. But when it comes to configuration, you're only getting 256 gigabytes of storage. Now, you could go spend a few $100s to have Apple include a ton of internal storage into your Mac Mini. That's gonna jack up the price, but it's not going to make it nearly as expensive as other computers that have larger storage systems inside. So what I'm doing is buying third-party external storage to have the Mac Mini constantly connected to, where all of the apps and data live. This isn't uncommon, and since it's a desktop, that hard drive can just stay connected to the Mac Mini. It could be connected to the bottom of a desk somewhere, and you'll never even see it. It's just doing its job, constantly connected to the Mac Mini. So the 256 gigabytes of storage out the door, out the box, not my favorite choice, but that's fixable very, very easily with some external storage. But let's get to power button gate. With this beautiful redesign, the power button is on the bottom of the Mac Mini. And I have not seen a video reviewing the Mac Mini. I have not seen an unboxing of the Mac Mini M4 model that has not mentioned this weirdly placed power button. I've seen Instagram posts about it. I've seen TikToks about it. Everybody is talking about this while also praising the Mac Mini for what it can do. Why on earth did they make this choice? It's all about hype. Steve Jobs was someone who revolutionized product announcements.
Clicker is not working. All right. They're scrambling backstage right now.
As a former Apple employee, I would get so excited when a new Apple product was going to be announced. And everyone would ask me, what are they announcing? What are they announcing at this scheduled event coming up? And I would always say, I know just as much as you. We were told nothing. But that didn't stop the rumors from flowing. And Steve Jobs revolutionized the way product announcements were done. We as Apple employees were told if we were caught discussing, posting, sharing anything about what we thought might be announced at an Apple event, we would be fired. There was an internal email that went around that said this type of, I'm going to use this word, they didn't, but this type of secrecy was worth millions of dollars, because that's why people would line up around the block to purchase new iPhones, new Macs, all the things that Apple was announcing and then releasing, because there was so much hype built up around it, and people never truly knew what was being announced or released until it was actually talked about. Okay, this is me coming at you live from the editing bay. Here's a story that kind of encapsulates what I'm sharing about here. When the iPad was released, nobody had seen it. There was all sorts of rumors. It was announced and shown at one of these, Steve Jobs announcements, but nobody had actually touched the thing. So we show up to work one day on iPad release day. There's a line around the block, and a manager walks up to me, where I was in the store at that point, a theater presenter. I just taught workshops and showed people how to use products. It was actually a really cool job that didn't exist in all of the stores. So it was really special to me, and I enjoyed doing it. He handed me the first iPad that our store had available and said, teach this all day. I had never seen an iPad. Now, yeah, it's a big iPod Touch. Anybody can pick up an iPad at this point and share it with the world and be like, well, here's how you do it. I bet I can just figure out this, download some apps. But I hadn't even touched the thing. He literally walked up to me, pulled it out of this secrecy cloak, an iPad, and said, teach this all day. So much secrecy, so much hype. And companies started to realize, hey, we need to get people talking about our products more. Let me give you an example. In comes the Magic Mouse from Apple. Is it a right-click, left-click mouse? Yes. Does it have a right-click, left-click button? No. And everyone talks about it. Can you scroll using gestures? Yes. Does it have a scroll wheel? No. All of these things are really, really incredible and a little bit revolutionary to the mouse community. Mickey? Minnie? Anyone? I don't know. But how is the Magic Mouse charged? On the bottom, using a lightning port. Now, the battery lasts forever, so if you charge it overnight every once in a while, you're absolutely fine. But people are still talking about how the Magic Mouse charges from the bottom. It's a ridiculous choice, but it keeps people talking because there's millions of people that like the Magic Mouse. My kid has one in there, he loves it, but you gotta charge it on the bottom and everybody talks about it. It used to be AA batteries. Now it charges from the bottom. Why? Or how about the Mac Pro that had the wheels on the bottom? Yeah, you can put wheels on it, but they cost like $1 billion. Why? Millions of videos about it. Probably not millions, thousands, but you get the point. Or let's move away from Apple. When the Cybertruck was released, it comes out, Elon Musk, have you heard of Elon Musk? He might show up in the news recently saying all sorts of things. Anyway, You can do anything to this car. As a matter of fact, the glass is bulletproof. He picks up a steel ball, throws it at the glass, cracks immediately. I've heard plenty of people say, I guarantee you that was done on purpose, because it looked like this moment where Elon Musk looked like an idiot, but instead the Tesla lovers were talking all about the Cybertruck, but the Tesla haters were also talking all about the Cybertruck, and not one of them did not mention, every one of them mentioned how that steel ball broke right through the glass and Elon Musk kinda looked like a fool on stage. Because guess what? The saying rings true even today. There's no such thing as bad publicity. So of course, companies want you talking all about their products, all the amazing features and what they do. And there's plenty to talk about in the Mac Mini. But I also believe that they're throwing in these little twists that get an extra layer of people talking about their stuff. Not just the normal reviewers like me, but the people that might be looking for Apple to make a mistake are gonna be like, see, I'm gonna write a post all about how this power button is on the bottom. And you could make the argument, I'm sure some Apple engineer could make the argument that, hey, we wanted to keep it small, so we had to make some choices about where this went, or not having an SD card reader. Huge flaw, by the way. Why? Yeah, maybe it is a design thing that the power button needs to be on the bottom to keep the device so small. But I truly think that when it comes to wheels on the Mac Pro, when it comes to the Tesla Cybertruck, when it comes to the Magic Mouse, and when it comes to the new Mac Mini M4 from Apple, that some of these design choices are made to keep people talking. Now listen, if you're a worship leader or a content creator like me and you're thinking, I'm gonna get the Mac Mini M4, it's gonna solve all my problems. No, it isn't. There's some other stuff you need to succeed in both of those fields. That's why you should probably watch these videos too. All right, see ya.